Okay, thanks. So Libby has a
So
question.
my question is, my sister-in-law, not on my side, my brother's wife, invited several of us to join her in a meditation program. It's a 21-day program, and it's every day for 21 days. And I was just curious, like, if any of you guys do that, or what you think about it, or it's Deepak
Chopra.
Yeah.
Deepak Chopra, yeah.
But it was like the whole idea of quieting your mind. I was just wondering if that's, a good idea, like before you look at the SID stuff, or I was just curious what you guys think.
Well, it's always a great idea to quiet your mind. I'll answer and then I want to hear what Pallavi has to say too. But it's always a great idea to quiet your mind down. It doesn't have to take 30 minutes though. It could take a short time. There are quite a few videotapes, webinars where Dicken Bettinger, he's a psychologist who worked with George Pransky for quite a while, many years. And he was a psychologist from Vermont. In fact, his story about moving his family from Vermont to LaConner, Washington is in the Secret of Love book. But he, as a traditional psychologist who was trying to fix himself, would meditate for 4 hours a day. I know it sounds unbelievable. I could not do it for half an hour. I don't think I could. And I tried in my younger years before I even heard about Sid Banks. I tried to meditate using different things like a word, because that was the years of transcendental meditation.
So you'd have around a phrase, like
you'd have a phrase
every day, and you repeat that and stuff like that. So I mean,
it didn't help my mind quiet down though, I'll tell you. My mind would
this is like 15 minutes a day. I mean, which is, like, it's hard to do, just not think about anything. So I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, why not do it as an experiment? If it's friends of yours, it's not like you're tied to it. You could always drop out. There's no harm, for sure. There's no harm in it. And we can drop into that deeper state of meditation in the middle of Grand Central Station if we're really quieting our mind and not being focused on all the noise around us. So that is possible. And the last thing I want to say about that is, what was it about meditation? Living life as a meditation. I don't know if Sid said that or somebody who was a student of the principles said that. I don't know where that originated, but I loved hearing that from different sources. Living life as a meditation. Now, you're going to get thrown off course and get all filled up with a lot of thinking, but having that idea, I guess that is an idea. If Alan was on, he'd call us on that. It's so wonderful that he's really into the purity, keeping the principles pure, which I am too. It's not really an idea, but anything we talk about is an idea. That's words or expressing ideas. But so it's not like a technique to live life like a meditation. It's just a beautiful way to think about it. I guess that's all I got on that. What do you have, Pallavi, about meditation?
First of all, I would say maybe to just go with your feeling, like if it feels interesting and you're curious about it and you feel like it would be nice to try it out, just go for it, because meditation for sure isn't something wrong to do or unhelpful to do. But if it feels more like an obligation or if it feels stressful or whatever, I would just, say it's not the right thing right now.
Right.
As for my own experience, I meditated a lot, like since I was about 18 or 19 years old, because I always did some kind of spiritual therapy groups, and I don't know, I just was very interested in all that stuff. And I had a lot of nice experiences meditating. I did the classic, like the really real classic stuff of just watching your breathing or watching your thinking. But I also did a lot of active meditations from Osho. He was like an Indian enlightened guy. And he said, like, we Westerners, we are way too stressed out to just sit silently. We have to first get active so that we can let some of the energy out, which was really nice. Like, he invented meditation techniques where you first danced for half an hour and then you would sit silently, or like stuff like that. And I enjoyed it. It was also like, we have a meditation center right around the corner, so you would go there, do it with people together, nice atmosphere and everything. So for sure it was helpful to get out of some stress and take a break from the day. But two things I saw since learning from Sid, which were really helpful for me. One thing is that I always misunderstood what I should do while meditating, which is kind of funny. But the thing is that they always keep saying what you're thinking, like be the observer of your thinking. But to me, this just made me more focused on my thinking. It just like it didn't make me look to the other thing, like to the quiet space. And I really love Sid saying, look inside. And for some reason, I understood that inside is not my thinking and not my past trauma, but inside is looking to the formless, to the stuff that's there before all the thinking and the blah blah. Somehow Sid explains it in a way that it made more sense to me. And since then, I can see what Laurie just said, that it doesn't need to take an hour to meditate. Like, I can drop in there sometimes in a second. And in this way, it becomes more part of my life than just a technique. And that's the second thing Sid is talking about a lot, that there's two things. Like, one is the technique of meditation, which he says, sure, do it. It's better than going to the doctor and taking a pill, but it will only last for the time you are sitting there meditating. Yeah? And the other thing is the inner state of meditation. And this is, I think, our true nature, basically. It's what's there before all the thinking and the form and the, stuff. And so I think it's good to know that and to make this distinction, that we can use meditation techniques if it's helpful for us and if it feels nice. But in the end, it's about discovering this inner space that's always available. And sometimes it's hard to see it. I mean, I get revved up and all caught up in thinking, but I still know it's there, and I sometimes still can touch it, even like for a second, and it gets me a little bit out of my busy mind. And also I'm starting now to really miss it when I'm not there, so I just know something's not right when I'm all busy all the time. So yeah, that's my
Oh, that's great. Yeah, I love that answer. I love that. What you were saying really struck me at the beginning. Whatever it was there. My thinking flew out of my mind. That was a good example of how that happens. It happens on its own. Yeah. Nothing we have to do to let go of our thinking.
Yeah. I think I was also often trying very hard to quiet my mind. And there's something that I realized during this last year, month, I don't know, that the peace actually isn't in the mind. It's really like in a space before the mind. So it's weird. I think like Laurie said, everything we talk about, it's already a concept or an idea. But I think sometimes we can point to the feeling that's behind there or something like that.
Yeah, sort of like an emptiness, but an emptiness and fullness in. It's really hard to describe that. How do you describe that space? It's like a pause. And we're thinking all the time. You can't really stop yourself from thinking.
And the part that I was struggling with was you're trying to erase all your thoughts and just focus on your breathing and whatever. And but at the same time, I was just trying to think of good thoughts, you know what I mean? Like when I quiet my mind, I just try to think of peaceful thoughts, or, you know, or listen to Sid, or listen to some music, or, you know, like happy things or positive things. And so, you know, you don't necessarily want to erase everything, you know, you want to like pull that positivity out somehow, you know. So I just, you
I
know,
would say the only trap to that is us thinking that there's something we have to do,
mhm,
and that positive thoughts are more valuable than not positive thoughts, than negative thoughts.
mhm,
Either way, positive or negative, it's still us thinking.
right.
Yeah, that's really, I think that's a really interesting point to look more into that, because I did this for such a long time, like trying to have more spiritual thinking, you know, and it's really, it created a lot of tension for me, especially when you start to think that negative thoughts might have an influence on your health, and you know, like, because I was experiencing pain and stuff. So I'm really happy that Hannah brought me out of it, and the whole 3P understanding got me out of it. And I kind of, when Sid talks about positivity, I understand it on a different level in a way, like it's outside of the positive and negative thinking. It's more like from the quiet space before that, there's this openness and love to everything, and that's like a deeper level of positivity, more this, you know, this openness and allowing. And I really like this very old and simple metaphors of the blue sky and the clouds going through, you know, and all the thinking is the clouds going through, and no matter what's happening there, I'm still the blue sky. I just forget sometimes. And so there, I think it's interesting to just try stuff out in that direction and find your own, you know, your own images and metaphors. And I'm still totally in that process too, and it's so interesting to see something new about that, and to let it become easier or more natural or with less effort or something like that.
Yeah, experiment.
Yeah.
I like that word of experiment with yourself. Why not try it out? Like you were saying, Pallavi, about how, you know, you tried a lot of different things in the spiritual realm of workshops and seminars and um, people, teachers, you know. Um, that's great to use your own experience. To me, that's what going within is, to recognize what my experience is. Because I can't know what somebody else's experience is. It's impossible. You can try to understand it as best you can, but we can only have our own experience brought to us by the principles. And really, it's that space before, you know, where the principles are formless. Mind, thought, and consciousness is formless energy bringing us any experience and every experience we have. That's the neutrality of what's behind positive and negative thinking. Just being neutral, recognizing that it's our spin. Somebody's positive is somebody else's negative, and vice versa.
Mm. Yeah, I was thinking about what you just said with the sky and the clouds. Like sometimes the clouds are like storm clouds,
Yeah.
you know, or sometimes
Totally.
they're, you know, light clouds, or, but it's, you know,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
you have this image of everything going on in the sky. That's a good image.
Have you seen those Wonderland videos?
Mm-mm.
What
Wonderland,
interview?
the Wonderland X videos. Do you guys know them?
Mm-mm.
From
What are
Katie
they?
Stokes? Oh,
No.
I have to post them in the group. Katie E. Stokes, she's a 3P, I don't know if a coach or, but she's a 3P person. And she created beautiful videos, like 5 short videos, where she uses Alice in Wonderland as a background for
Oh,
explaining the
wonderful.
principles. And they are so sweet, like really amazing.
I saw her exhibit. You know how we do poster exhibits at the 3PUK
Yeah.
conference?
Mhm.
Unbelievable. She had this whole three-dimensional, amazing setup around Alice in Wonderland and the perspective changing. And at this corner, all the, it looks really, really small. And I mean, amazing stuff. So I'm so happy to hear she's doing videos of that.
Yeah,
Please
she
post
did them
that.
a few years ago. I don't think there's anything new happening, but I just love those videos, and they have all the stuff in there you need to know. You know, it's super funny. Like it's really short thing to explain the principles. Super
Oh, how
sweet.
cool. You know, for people who are visual,
Yeah.
they would really get a sense of what Sid was pointing to. The illusion.
Yeah, and also like it's so magical and mystical. It speaks to this other part of the mind, you know, it's not so intellectual in a way. It's really nice. Yeah.
Oh, that's really cool. Yeah, you see, you never know where our discussions, we could just be three of us, and you never know where our discussions will lead. Just on that one question you had.
Mm. Yeah, I was kind of curious, like if that helps, but maybe it doesn't. Trying to just sit there and erase all your thinking, or you know.
I think it helps if you like it, you know, if it's just like a sweet, enjoyable time for you, and it feels like, oh, this is my me time, my break.
Yeah, like sit outside in the sun and just, you know.
Then it's great. I mean, it's
Yeah.
like when I lay down 2 times a day, I rest a bit for my body, and then I always listen to Sit, and it's also a kind of meditation because I just get quiet and just, you know, try just listen, and it's great. But it's not like I blame myself if I miss one of the sessions, or you know, like it's not it's not a strict plan. It's just
that's
something
true.
I like
This
to
is
do.
kind of like a plan. So
that was the point you brought up, Pallavi, that I wanted to come back to, that it has to do with how you're experiencing it. So if you're getting frustrated and thinking that you're wasting time, and, you know, so let it go and go do what you prefer doing. The point is the state of mind you're doing anything in, whether it's trying to sit, even if you're trying to sit and listen to Sid. I mean, to me, listening to Sid that's my meditation. It's my form of meditation. Yeah, something about listening and taking in that drowns out my own gobbledygook. You know, I love the act of listening that drowns out my own thinking. That's what Sid does for me. And that's, to me, that is that meditative state. So yeah, what Pallavi said, that you know, if you're beating yourself up that you can't find the 15 minutes, well, that's not a good idea. I mean, I can remember being at a hotel at the front desk, and the person, you know, a few people down, was really upset that the gym closes at a certain time of day. How's he gonna, you know, so the whole point to getting exercise or meditation is to quiet down and shift gears for people and do something healthy for themselves. But if you're going to get upset about not being able to do it, that's like, I don't know. It's the reverse of what you're looking for.
And what Laurie said in the beginning about Dick Bettinger, he often talks about it. I think I know a talk where he talks about it. It's very funny when he explains, or when he tells his story about how much he meditated and what kind of timetable he had, and how he tried to convince his wife to meditate more, even though she was anyway very happy in comparison to him. And it might be funny also to watch that, to just get a feeling for it. I always found it very funny to listen to him tell that.
Yeah.
Like he had a timetable where he set his alarm for the middle of the night so he could write down his dreams in his dream diary, and then he had to get up at 4 a.m. to put 2 hours of meditation in before his kids got up, and like crazy stuff.
So his schedule probably stressed him out, right?
Trying to fix you, right? When people try to fix themselves, it's very stressful to think that you're broken and you need fixing.
Mhm.
Yeah. And you have to do all these things to be a better human.
All these methods and procedures and stuff, right?
Oh, yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, it's such a big thing, right? Like during this time, like everybody is searching and doing stuff, and
Yeah.
it's like a whole new area of stress, like making yourself better. And
Right.
yeah.
I
The
heard on
self-care stuff that I see coming through my emails, self-care and take care of yourself, as if, we're living in some kind of post-atomic bomb state or something. Like,
Yeah.
yikes.
Yeah, there was something on NPR about the pandemic and people being alone a lot and what it's done, and a lot of it has to do with that interaction, but also like just that loneliness piece and how people don't know how to manage that or adjust to those surroundings and stuff. So
Well, guess what I would have to say, and I wonder what Pallavi has to say about this. It's the thinking they have about being alone, about living alone. It's the thinking that people have about people who are alone. Also,
yes, that's a stigma in the world, according to this article that they were talking about. Like people, if you're alone, people think that's a bad thing. It's automatically thought of as a negative thing. So
well, I have to tell you, and I think you've heard me say this before, that the pandemic made me realize how much I enjoy my alone time.
yeah.
Yeah. It had always been like that, but I never recognized it like I do. Like I would actually make myself be more social. I didn't
Right.
even realize that I was forcing myself to be more social because somewhere in my brain, I thought that that's what I'm supposed to do. It just seemed like life to me. That's, mind, thought, and consciousness. We're not realizing that we're creating this idea. It just seemed like life, like that's what I'm supposed to do is get out and socialize and blah, blah, blah. And yeah, well, it's cool that came out of my blind spot, that's a bunch of hooey.
Yeah, that's super cool to see, huh? That you really enjoy this, and the other stuff is just an idea, huh?
I think a lot of people, once the expectations were gone that you have to go meet these people, meet these people every once a month. I meet these people and I do this and I do that. And so once that was gone, then you're like, you didn't have to live up to, you could just like change yourself and say, well, this is nice. I could just, enjoy, what's around me or,
Yeah.
it is part of like what you said, the thinking of what the expectations were, and that is now changed for a lot of people. And
We have a lot more choice and a lot more free will than we realize.
I honestly, with the pandemic, learned for the first time that when I'm bored, that it goes away without me doing something. Like it sounds a bit stupid, but like I always lived in the middle of the city. I have coffee shops all around and I can always go somewhere for coffee, meet someone. And so usually I would do that, like when I get bored, and I had this thing of getting really bored, like in a really bad mood, and this feeling of nothing ever happens in my life. I had this since I was a teenager, like regularly. And it was really the first time now with learning about the 3P and being in the pandemic that I consciously realized, oh my God, that's just a thought. And the feeling coming up with a thought. And it really just passes if I just do nothing or do the dishes or whatever, you know. And I really found this very, very liberating, because now I know, okay, I can still go out. I mean, if Corona ever goes by, but I don't need to, you know. I'll be happy again, and I feel excited and full of life and okay again, even if I don't do anything. And I really like that. It's especially cool
Liberating.
because sometimes I can't go out because my body hurts. So it's kind of nice to know I'm fine at home too.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
much was learned during this period of sheltering.
Yeah.
Liberating.
Guys, I have
love
to
that
share.
word.
Yeah. I have to share something. I talked to Dr. Bill Petit last Friday. There
To
was
who?
Bill Petit.
Oh, Bill Pettit. Yeah.
Bill
Yeah, I
Petit,
don't know
yeah.
if Libby knows. Bill is a psychiatrist in the Midwest. He and his wife, Linda, they're doctors, Pettits, and their website, their logo is something like never broken, nothing lacking.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Nothing
Well,
lacking,
it took
never
me a
broken.
while because when I first heard you mention his name, I was thinking of Bill Pettit from Southington.
Oh,
who
right.
had-
Cheshire. No, different one.
Cheshire, yeah.
Yeah.
But
Same
then I caught on to he was somebody else. But how did you speak with him?
Yeah, he's an amazing guy. Check him out if you haven't seen something of him before. There was a live coaching session from the 3P global community. I'm in some kind of apprentice practitioner program there. So we have this live coaching sessions once a month with one of the very experienced 3P coaches, giving a session to someone, and we can watch it live on Zoom and we can ask questions afterwards. And Bill Pettit is like one of the most experienced coaches, I think, or therapists, and I really I respect him very much. And he works a lot with mind-body connections with people who have physical symptoms too. And so the session was very nice. And afterwards, I asked him about the one question. It's the only question I still get caught up with. It's about me sometimes still having quite intense pain, even though I feel I'm pretty much okay since a while. Like I'm pretty much calm and at peace. And what comes up for me is that I feel like I must be especially stupid that I'm still getting these intense feedbacks from my body, you know, like I have a judgment on it that I should be out of it in a way. And so I asked him about it, and it was so sweet because he told me all kinds of nice stuff that I kind of already know, that you can feel peaceful with pain and stuff like that. But what really helped me is that the first thing he said was, I have physical symptoms all the time. And it was so funny because after that I basically didn't hear much anymore, because that was the thing I really needed to hear, you know, like from a guy like that who I know is really loving and wise and, you know, helps so many people. And it was so sweet in a way. I found it funny, you know. It was like I needed some kind of absolution from somebody saying, you're fine, it's okay, you know. And I felt so liberated after that. Like I felt so quiet over the weekend, and I felt like it was a little nudge to just let some kind of judgment I still hold on to, just let it go. And yeah, it was just really nice.
Oh, wow. That's great. Yeah. That reassurance.
Yeah.
To know that you're not
So what are
alone.
you supposed to do if you're having that pain? Like what are you supposed to do that helps you?
Oh, I don't even suffer with the pain so much anymore. When I have pain, like I still have some kind of pain most of the time. And I just don't do anything much about it. I just rest during the day. And when I get into a flare up or I have a bad day, I just take care of me on a very practical level, you know, just resting, taking hot showers, taking a hot bath. And like I realized during this year that most of the suffering with the pain comes from all the thinking about it, like the meaning you give to it and trying to figure out and do stuff and, you know, looking for new therapies. And once it all calms down and you relax with it, I can be pretty happy even on a day with more pain. Like I can be peaceful with it and I just do what I can do. So this wasn't the problem for me anymore. It was really a judgment I had of I should be able to get out of it, like because they
But
always say,
was it like a worry about it? Like you were constantly like
Mm.
worried about it or thinking about it, or I'm just
I
curious.
was for a long time, but that all got better in working with Hannah, because she helped me a lot in dealing with this. No, it was really this idea that since the pain is stress related, like it's fibromyalgia, so it's just coming from the nervous system, and I'm learning all about calming down here and spending time in the quiet space, you know. It just felt like I'm failing because I kept getting this feedback from my body. Yeah, but you're still tensed, otherwise it wouldn't hurt, you know. Like it just, in my mind, it told me that I'm a failure in a way. And so I got all the other pieces together, and I had a lot of nice insights about the pain. A lot of worry and all this stuff calmed down for me, but I kind of still held on to this failing thing. I think it was always the strongest one for me, because I did so much meditation and all kinds of stuff. I always thought it's kind of weird to get a stress disease then, you know. It's kind of a very ironic joke from the universe.
So once you let go of that piece, then the pain went away because the stress went away?
No, I just don't care anymore.
You just
Yeah.
have other conscious thoughts about it, or
No, it's still there. It's going up and down. All in all, it's way better than a year before. Like I go running every morning and I live a pretty normal life. I still have to rest and stuff. But this wasn't the point. It was really about my mental suffering with it, you know, about the judgments I had with it. And yeah, of course, if I'm really at peace with it, the levels go down, and also I don't notice it so much, because there's a big difference between just dealing with physical symptoms on a practical level, you know, and worrying about it all the time. Like it's different, like day and night, you know.
Wow. It's amazing.
Yeah, and I feel like in the whole 3P community, like people are so supportive. Like Bill Pettit even wrote me an email 2 days after with something that came up for him afterwards, and I was so touched by all the support, like with you, Laurie, and then all this in this whole community. There's so much love and support there, and yeah, it just really touches me.
And Libby, I have posted the Doctor's Pettits in in our Mystery School Facebook group. If you scroll down,
I'll
you'll
look
see,
for him, or I'll just search on him, and
there's a picture, I think, of the two of them. Yeah, Linda and Bill. And Pallavi learned about the principles through Hannah Rosenblatt. I also posted a picture.
Hannah Studley, not Rosenblatt.
Studley. Oh, right. I've done that before. There's also the rabbi's wife is Hannah Rosenblatt. So Hannah Studley, I should know. So I posted her book, which is called Painless. That's also, if you scroll down. Thanks for reminding me. The other Hannah. It's an odd name, so it's fun to have two Hannahs.
Yeah.
No, that's really interesting.
Yeah, it sure is, isn't it? That.
But isn't it weird sometimes? Like, how do you see it? Sometimes I think I don't really understand why the pull is so strong to go into a busy mind, because like I know this, you know, I know this quiet space, and I just love it. It feels so connected with the moment and with life, and so sweet. And sometimes I can watch myself going out of it, you know, and just like getting sucked in whatever issue, like Googling Corona statistics, whatever, you know, some kind of shit. And I sometimes really don't understand why, you know, like why.
Why you
do we
let
have to
yourself
do
go
that?
there? Why you let yourself
Yeah,
go there? Yeah.
yeah, why the pull is so strong. And
The
I mean, I
pull.
can see that the mind is kind of made for that, for being curious and wanting to, you know, go into stuff, going into the details. And it's kind of a gift too, because we can create all kinds of stuff with it. But yeah, still, sometimes it seems funny to me.
Yeah, I
Like,
like that. It's a gift also, this gift of curiosity. And I think, I don't know, I feel like I've gotten better through the years of just weaving in and out of that,
mm,
right? You know, like I spend my morning having coffee over the news.
mm,
So, and I enjoy that. I like learning, but I also know when to cut it out.
yeah,
You know, like I'll get emails about these horrific, I think it's Lady Free Thinker or something, I can't remember. I know I can't look at it because it's about animal abuse, or I just can't go there.
yeah,
And so, you know, I don't,
yeah,
because it's just not going to be good for my well-being.
yeah,
And I have to do that with the news too. If I'm,
Mm.
you know, just getting this feeling of being troubled, time to change the channel.
yeah,
And it's like time to change the channel here.
yeah.
There's a million other things to focus on.
So it's
I could
just like a
go,
learning curve, right? To watch it again and again, and
yeah,
yeah,
it's like getting to know yourself,
yeah,
right? Like we're, and honoring what you're, rather than pushing yourself to do something you don't want to be doing. There's no sense to that. There's a million other things to go do. Water plants, take a walk. Yeah. I saw the cutest scene taking this walk before coming on today. Of this little park. I have two parks. One is bigger than the other, but this little one, I was able to walk a whole mile without seeing anybody. And part of it is in the woods, and the other part of it is walking past um, a basketball court and tennis courts. So I start seeing more people. And there's this little playground. I love stopping to watch how these kids play. This tiny toddler was in a swing. One of the swings is like, you know, completely enclosed for toddlers. And it was just so cute. The mom there with her friend, and there was another young toddler, you know, young child, not a toddler. She was running around on the playscapes, and it was just the cutest thing. And man, I was just totally focused. You know, like who wants to think about anything else when you're seeing, and the baby saw me watching, and she's giggling and pointing, and you know, it was just, that can happen in an instant, and your
Yeah.
mind clears.
Yeah.
There's stuff like that all around us.
Mm.
Yeah, we forget if we're so focused on the stuff that isn't productive.
Mhm.
It's not productive. Why am I driving myself bats over this?
Not productive and not even fun, you know?
I know, right? It's
Yeah.
one thing to not be productive and at least giggling over the toddler, but to not be productive and angsting over what's going on. You know, I can give money to a charity, but, or talk to my legislators, but you know, if I'm not doing one of those two things, why am I going to immerse myself in all the negativity?
Yeah, the news is not fun to watch,
Yeah.
but or just other things too, like negative things.
Yeah. Yeah, it's tricky because some of it is interesting.
Mm.
I get really interested in the different factions and how people, you
Mhm.
know,
Mhm.
like the protesters against the police. And boy, when you boil it all down, everybody's the same, operating on the same three principles. They're just in separate realities, seeing things differently, but underneath all of that, we're all built the same.
Mm.
There's a lot of that coming out. I don't know the exact dates. I posted it because I think it might be this weekend. I posted it also in the Facebook group. 3P UK has a conference. It's a virtual
Oh,
conference.
it's next.
Next weekend, not this coming one, the one after.
It's virtual though, right? Is that what you said?
Virtual, yeah.
Mm.
It's 3 days with a lot of the great teachers. So if you want to get like an overview about who's doing what, then
Yeah,
very
that'd be
nice.
good.
And they're doing a lot this year about the fact that we are all the same with all of the racial tensions and bias. And yeah, so they did a really good job of putting that together. Because I just saw the schedule that that's what I posted.
Okay, I'll look for that.
Yeah. So what other questions? We got a couple of minutes, not many. What else here? Or anything that you are, yeah, we got about 7.
I mean, do either of you have any other recommendations on a specific video to watch, or you just Google and find these different people? And
Did you read all of the sit books and the talks? And
I mean, I read the garden one, but I almost like have to reread it because I'm still trying to understand it. And then I watched some of his videos. I watched the one that you just posted, Lori, about the mountain or something. I watched some of those. They're all about, I think he gave these talks at the mountains or something, but it was about separate realities, and it was like 3 parts or 4 parts.
You mean the Washington Monument?
Yeah, that was at Washington. Wait, I'm looking right now.
Yeah, because that's where he talks about separate realities and.
Yeah, so I watched those.
Yeah.
I mean, like for me, it was good to check out some of the 3P coaches or teachers and just find some that I like to listen to. Because aside from listening to Sid, I sometimes find it helpful when people talk about day-to-day situations and about their own experiences, and also to have the possibility to ask them questions, which I can't do with Sid, So I always go back to Sid's talks. I listen to them a lot. And I like all his books really a lot, but I also have like my favorite teachers, and some of them are Dickon Bettinger and George Prensky and Bill Pettit, and these are all guys who really lived and learned from Sid for years, And
so you go to like their websites and they'll have talks and things.
You can just look on YouTube. There's loads of free videos on YouTube.
Okay.
Yeah, and of course you can check out the websites and get in the newsletters, so you always get information if I do something. And you can befriend them on Facebook. Then you will also, get information.
Post things. Yeah.
3PGC is a great place. 3pgc.org stands for 3 Principles Global Community, because that's where you'll get to know all of these teachers.
I haven't looked at any of
great
that.
Place to be exposed to them.
That's a good idea. Okay.
It's really great.
Yeah. I mean, there's so many.
There's so many, and it's nice. Like in during the first half year, I watched everything I could find, and then at some point it calmed down a little bit. But both was good. Like it was okay. I was just excited, and it's nice. And to me, it's like I don't listen to everyone. It's very individual for me. Like I only like a few people, and so I just look for their videos, and they all express it. I mean, they're all talking about the same stuff, but everybody expresses it so personally different.
Right.
They use their metaphors, and it's kind of nice to get to know these guys.
I mean, I'm still just trying to hear different points of views and But yeah, that's a great suggestion because I've only been just trying to find Sid speaking, but it
Yeah.
makes sense to think of, and then this is great to hear other people's, comments. So that's good.
Yeah, I got to remind everybody to send in their post,
Mm,
the pre and post tests. Anybody who's been around for 6 weeks, I got to remember to post that on our Facebook group.
Yeah.
'Cause I'd really like to get those out to Tom Kelly this
Mm.
weekend. Yeah, listening to and reading Sid is such a good springboard for people who are new to the principles. And like Julia, she really enjoys Elsie Spittle.
Oh,
She's read Elsie Spittle's books, and Elsie was the first teacher of the
Okay.
principals who knew Sid. Yeah, she's got great stories.
mm.
Yeah, because she was around Sid when she and her husband were around Sid and his wife when Sid had his experience, and it was like night and day.
Mm.
And
Oh,
she
that reminds me
resisted
of.
it big time.
Huh?
She resisted it big time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It reminds me of these two books. They are also two books of Linda Queering. She was Sid's first student, and she wrote these two books, Island of Knowledge and Beyond Beliefs. And I was just rereading them, and these are Sid's very early teachings, like from the first years after his enlightenment experience. And she quotes Sid a lot in the books, and they are just beautiful too.
Yeah.
Maybe, Laurie, could we even would you put them, add them to the mystery school in a way, like as a recommendation, because there's so much of Sid's stuff in there. Do you have the books?
Yeah, I do. Linda Queering. Yeah.
What was the second one? Island of Knowledge and what?
Beyond Beliefs.
More reading. I was telling Lori I don't have enough time in the day to read everything, but
Well,
Whatever
all those
sticks
times
out
that
to
you
you.
think you're bored. Maybe you'll remember, oh wait, there's 100 books I want to read. What am I talking about? I'm bored.
I have a stack of books like this on my table as it is. But
Yeah. Yeah, the trick is finding your perfect reading spot, I think, that always beckons me. Because I get a lot of sunlight, on a sunny day. I just want to sit in my chair and read.
yeah.
So great. Well, I'm so glad you two came to join me. And yeah, any suggestions you have for the future, let me know.
Okay.
Yeah. Actually, I was going to ask a question, which I'll ask on Thursday, because there'll be more people when we'll be doing, what is it, number 4 or number 3? We're in like the 3rd week of this session, which is innate health and the 3 principles. And so I was thinking about this question, and you two can reflect on this, that, let's see, what came to me? How do you know that we have something called innate health? And what have you learned about the 3 principles that would indicate that we all do have innate health? See what comes to you.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I like that question. Yeah. All right, everybody. Have a great,
Thank you.
maybe come back on Thursday if you want to come. Yeah, I love that.
What time is it tomorrow?
5
Okay,
o'clock on Thursday.
Wow, it's
So
Thursday
that's like-
tomorrow.
That's 3
5
hours
Eastern.
later, right?
5 Eastern time. So
What's your time difference? You're like ahead. So that's late at night.
This
it's
one was
3
8.
o'clock Eastern now. What time are you?
So this
Pallavi?
one was 8 p.m. for me. So tomorrow it would be 11 p.m. That's too late. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So you're actually 6 hours, 6, 7, 8. You're 6 hours ahead.
Yeah.
So it's 9 p.m. now?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Time
So
for you to
Lori,
go
were
to
you
sleep.
trying to make that time so people could come after work?
Yes.
Mm.
And also there was somebody from Australia who's been wanting to come on. But Australia is the other direction.
Yeah.
They're earlier. So she should be on today. I don't know. It's really hard to corral people, let me tell you.
No,
I
but
like the way Chris and Judy are doing it for their 10-week training program. They just set the times and people are gonna come or not.
Mm.
But I feel, it's not every session that somebody pops in from Australia, so I try to make it her time.
yeah.
But now we've got enough of a spread. Wednesday at 2 Eastern time, Thursday at 5 Eastern time. So that should capture people. Yeah.
I'll be here next Wednesday.
Good. All right. We'll see
All
you
right.
then.
So
All right,
nice to
thank you
see
both. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Have a nice day.
You
You
too.
too. Bye.